this video, I'm going to provide an overview of InDesign. You're going to be introduced to the interface and the toolbars of InDesign and navigate through several pages of a template, and also see how colors can be used as wayfinding devices within an InDesign file or portfolio. So once you've downloaded and opened InDesign, you might see a screen similar to this one. And so you're going to go ahead and hit the Open button and browse to the portfolio template that you have been provided. Okay, now let's take a look at the interface of InDesign. InDesign works similarly to PowerPoint, except that you have a little bit more control over the images within InDesign that you use, and you have the ability to apply any infinite number of styles and layouts to the template or slide, as we say in PowerPoint, within InDesign. So within PowerPoint, you just get to kind of pick the border and the graphics and how they look, and that appears over and over again on each slide. But with InDesign, you can create as many of those as you like, and you can select which kind of design you have on each slide, or in InDesign we say page of the portfolio. And so when you open up InDesign, it's going to have that preview of the page. And then instead of on the left side, as we see in PowerPoint, on the right side, you'll see the list of all of the pages within InDesign that you can navigate to. Along the top, you'll see the tabs that you can click through and work with different commands within InDesign by just clicking and selecting which from the drop-down menu you want. You will see a ruler at the top and along the sides of your interface here. And these are really used to just provide guidelines. So for example, if you want to click and drag over here and let go, you now have a guideline on that side of your page. So you can use those rulers there. If you want to hide them, or if you can't see them, you can go to the view button and you'll see a button that says rulers, and the rulers will show once you click that, or you can click this and hide them. Over here, you're going to see a couple of tabs that you can click to as well. You can see that we have one tab here that says pages. Now we've got master pages at the top, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But the pages themselves that represent the pages within your portfolio are down here. And so I can double click to navigate to each of those individual pages. Over here, you'll see CC Libraries, and that's the tab that allows you to search through various elements within the Creative Cloud. If you're merging multiple programs or using files across multiple softwares, you can find them here. You'll also see a Properties tab, and this populates information about the properties for whichever object that you are selecting. So right now, nothing is selected, and so it's giving me information about the document itself. But if I click on this text box, you can see it's going to give me information about that text box and the properties of that text box. So we'll be going between these two tabs throughout the process of creating this template. You've also got here a bar that you can drag down to navigate through different pages within your InDesign file, and then you can drag this way to move left and right to see different parts of each page. Over here, you can see the modify buttons, and these will be using to, for example, click on here and select. You can create shapes with this button. You can create text boxes with this button. You can zoom in, for example, if you want to zoom and click in and see your page itself bigger. If you want to zoom out, you hit the Alt button and hold that down while you click, and you will zoom out. And so we'll be working in between and using all of these different components of the InDesign interface. But for now, I want to navigate you through a couple of different pages within this InDesign portfolio. And so what you can see here, this is the cover page, and this is the first page. You can see it's over here. And you can see it's got just some basic information about what you're about to see. If we scroll down with our scroll wheel, we can scroll or we can click over here. You can see we've got the table of contents down here. Now there's a couple of things that you can see on this page that might be a little bit distracting for you. The first is the blue lines that, as you click on them, indicate the locations of text boxes. Now, as I click and drag, I can move the grips around, but doing so, of course, changes the location of the text box. But that's what those are there. You'll see also at the top of these images here, little links. And that's because InDesign doesn't actually embed the images that you see here within the InDesign file. They actually link to the location on my computer where these files exist. And it helps the file move quickly and stay lightweight. And so it doesn't take up as much memory, and it's a lot easier to work with because these images themselves are very large. And so that's the reason why you see that link, because they're links. So we'll talk more about that later. But you can see here in my table of contents, I have actually created what you see here, which are different colored boxes with a text box on top. And so you can see if I click and drag, right, that box itself changes. Now, when I click on that box, you can see over here that there's a swatch that relates to it. Now, if I want to change the color of that box, all I have to do is click on the box, double click on the swatch, and it will show me this kind of rainbow of colors. And if I click and move through here, I can adjust all the different colors that I see, and I can change the color of those swatches. And once I found a color that I like, I hit OK, and the color will change. I'm going to hit Control Z to undo that. And so what I have here are actually what's known as a wayfinding device. And this allows a viewer to look at your portfolio, connect colors with certain categories. So skill building are green, hand renderings are this sort of lilac gray color. We've got digital renderings are this light blue, and hybrid renderings are going to be this brownish color. So as you can see, when I scroll through this, skill building exercises have that light green down at the bottom with the label, you can see. And so I'm just scrolling through my wheel to show you. All the skill building ones are green. And as we start to get into hand rendering, you can see that now we go from green skill building to that lilac-ish gray color, lilac gray color hand rendering down at the bottom. And you can see now we've moved on to digital rendering. And so what that does is that actually allows a viewer to click through and move through your portfolio fast. So let's go back to the top and I'll show you once again how this works. Imagine that this portfolio was printed out on 8.5 by 11 paper, and it was bound on the left side. And you had handed this to someone who's interviewing you, and they want to go straight to the digital renderings because that's maybe the most critical skill that they want to look at. So now, instead of having to flip through all the pages, once they see and understand how this works, all they have to do is flip up the bottom right corner of your portfolio and flip until they see that at the bottom. And then they can go right to what they want to look at. And so these are a wayfinding device to help people navigate through your portfolio quickly and go back and forth between parts and pieces. It also preserves the quality of your printed out portfolio because it can be kind of expensive to print those. And so you want to reduce the amount of flipping through pages that people do if they're trying to do it fast. And so this is a really great way to start to think about the organization of your portfolio so that you have right at the table of contents the sample of your very best work here. And you've got the wayfinding devices that connect to the bottom. And so it allows anyone looking at your portfolio, once they pick up on those wayfinding devices, immediate access to the information that they need. And so now you have a very basic understanding of the interface of InDesign, how to navigate through the pages of the template, and to see how colors can be used as a wayfinding device.